I would think that I was born as an artist. I remember that I was painting when I was a small child. And I kept that up for all my life. I would say art was actually an autotherapy for me. That, of course, I discovered after I used art as a therapeutic tool with schizophrenics or other people, and art would be open their an understanding to themselves. It was a kind of a dialogue with oneself. I feel the schizophrenic is particularly disturbed in the verbal field, you know, and he's least disturbed in the visual field. And therefore they could communicate over the visual field much better than in the verbal field. I would say through the painting, they open a new avenue through this technique, you know. There are no rigid rules on that, and therefore they can really express their feelings. Therefore, they feel accepted. We do not analyze the paintings. We just appreciate what it means to them. And I do not see them as mentally ill person. I see them as human beings. They have a different form of life experiences and so on, and how they feel. If I'm painting with a patient, I'm not their doctor. I'm a human being like he is a human being. They never see me as a doctor. They see me as an artist. See, and that is you're on equal level. See, very important.
Well, I used to make toys for family members. And that would be submarines and airplanes and other stuff like that. You know, eventually, I just got displaced. It's just lonely. A lot about art is soothing and helpful. Brings a lot of genuine emotion to the surface. You know, is a good way of expressing our emotions and feelings and getting over them, or you know, even having fun. It keeps me busy. You know. Even though we're living in very troubled times, you know, it helps. I actually was drafting in high school, and well, I used to, you know, for some of the science projects, you know, try and draw pictures of galaxies, and all I had to work with was like cardboard paper and tin cans and cardboard boxes and a little bit of imagination. In science, all that stuff's out there, even if you just find a dinosaur head, and even a dinosaur head would be cool to put on a canvas. It's kind of fantasy. It's a fantasy, but it's a nice fantasy. And then the glitter came in, and it's easier to represent something in more of a three-dimensional basis. I'd like to do a glitter Obama. That would be good. That would be very good, but I haven't gotten around to that yet.
From the first time I went to high school, I begged my teachers to put me in art. And the second day, she put me in art. And I've been loving it ever since. It relaxes me, you know. I just like to, you know, get in my room and cut off the TV and just start drawing. You know, I look at things too. If it's a certain picture that, if it's hard to draw, I'm like, well, I can draw that. Without thinking, I just, you know, drawing it. It's a gift, you know, and I can be looking at anything, and in my mind, I'm like, I can do this. You know, like you have a third eye. You know, that's it. You know, that third eye catches everything. I like to have fun with it, and you know, I like to, you know, shock people. You know, I would like to become more access, and I'm gonna get paid, you know, doing it too. So it just has to, you know, take time, you know, and patience. You know, it's not gonna come overnight.
I I always had the talent, I guess you could say, when I was born. It comes natural. I like to do all kinds of things. I like to do paint ceramics, crochet, draw. I like to draw people, animals, cars. I try to put a lot of stuff in one picture instead of just one little thing. I like to add on and make it interesting to look at. If I see something that I like, I kind of like take a picture of it in my mind and come home and try to draw it back out. I guess since my mental illness, a lot of stuff I had to look at to draw. Back in 1992, I had a nervous breakdown. My mind snapped. And then I started hallucinating and hearing voices, and I'm not the same as I was before. When I do art, it's like therapy to me. It releases my what I'm thinking about, what's aggravating me. Art takes me away from it, and I even breathe better when I'm drawing. It makes me feel good. It really does, because I put a lot into my artwork before it goes out of here. I'll stand back, look at it for a day or two, make sure every little detail's just right.
I think from an early age I was, bombarded with, things from television commercials and billboards and newspaper commercials, everything, that they take on a life of their own, that, they live inside my head. I do a lot of pop cultural images like Mr. Kool-Aid and the people that populate McDonald's land like Mayor McCheese and Grimace, and I put them in different situations. Then, Mayor McCheese lost the election of McDonald land. Now he's a drunk and he wakes up every morning and his bun aches. Well, I'm very anti-corporate. I mean, I don't like the corporations running everything. I was just doing a painting in there with General Electric, Colonel Sanders, and Captain Crunch. They're an army, and General Electric makes the plans, and Colonel Sanders passes them down to Captain Crunch. I don't know when it started, but maybe in my teens, I just started noticing girls smoking, and I really liked that. And then, starting about 10 years ago, it started disappearing, and I found out they go into the TV. So that's where I can see the women smoking in TV. I've always done art from when I was a little kid. I can't remember a time when I didn't draw. I still draw every day. It's like a release of tension, and it gets some of the stuff out of my head. I'd like to be shown more. I'd like my artwork to be shown all across the country, or at least in part of the country.
With all the changes in my life, art has always been a constant with me. It works as therapy for me, also builds my self-esteem. It makes me feel productive. With being mentally challenged, it's hard to actually keep like a hobby or maybe like type of work going, For a long time I was doing portraits of people. I've done some famous people. I've done Billy Squier, Mick Jagger watercolor, Robert Plant, I think 2, maybe 3 times. And then there's Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney. With people, the portraits, it's usually somebody that I know, I care about, and I put a lot of feeling into that because that's the feeling I was given. It's like giving back the feeling that I was given. Music has always been an inspiration to me, and just music is a very much of an art, just like anything else, and you can hear it. It's inspirational, makes your mind use its imagination. For me as an artist, it's something I've loved all my life, and I guess other people like it too, and it makes me happy to make them happy.
Well, I first started doing art when I was like 2 years old, and really I draw it on this shoebox that my mother gave me, and I was drawing Blondie and Andy Cap. They told me I did a real good job on it. So that inspired me to be an artist, so I started trying to draw as many times as I possibly could. I like to draw portraits at first, and then I started drawing musicians like Earth, Wind, Fire, and my teachers, they said that I wasn't as good as I thought I was, so sometimes I used to sit and cry because I wanted to be an artist so bad. I started having dreams about being on other planets, being reassured that I was going to be an artist. And so I started drawing my dreams. I had dreams that I was successful later in life, that the art brought me to a success. But that's the reason why I was doing all that art and everything. I wasn't really trying to be famous, but I was just trying to find a way out of mental illness. Sometimes I would give up. Sometimes, you know, every time I thought I was going to give up, there was always somebody that stopped me from dying, saved my life from suicide. But it is kind of hard when you know, have a mental illness, because you be hearing voices, you know, that be discouraging you to stop drawing. But if you don't listen to the voices, and if you just continue on, then the voices will start encouraging you to do, you know, better and better and better. The lesson of the whole thing is never give up.
Well, see, this is St. Teresa of Avila, and this is the devil. It says here, St. Teresa and the devil. The devil often appeared to St. Teresa in such a cliché guise that she had to force herself to keep from laughing. I know you don't probably believe that because you're Protestant, but I believe it, you know what I mean? In this work, I tried to strike a balance between cliché and terrifyingly strange. Oh, son of a bitch bastard. Look at him. My name is Gotcha. There you go. And Geraldine Katab. It's all right. When you're a natural, you're a natural. There's no getting away from it. You're just an artist, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter how sick you are, you're an artist. So anyway, since 2003, I've been doing it pretty steadily, that's all. I have so many, I have bunches and bunches of other places, much more than I have on the walls. I mean, I really had a passion for it at first. That's all I wanted to do. I'd wake up in the morning and say, wow, what's my next art piece?
Yeah.
You know. And then, then for a while I was too sick to do any art pieces. It's all about God, that's all. That's all.